For over a decade, the team at textLIVING has built an industry-leading customer loyalty and text marketing platform that has helped more than 10,000 merchants produce over $200 million in additional revenue. After creating a proven product and sales process, we decided to white label the platform, making it possible for other entrepreneurs and sales professionals to customize it and sell it as their own. Hi, I'm Joe Brannon, founder and CEO at textLIVING. In this workshop, we're digging into cold calls and elevator pitches, the secrets to making a good first impression in software sales. Maybe you're a sales professional working as a merchant provider, a real estate professional, or a seasoned sales exec, but just don't have any experience in technology. This episode is designed to help you take your skills to the next level. We'll provide practical, tactical information that current and potential white label partners can use to make a meaningful and effective first impression with potential customers. Today, you'll learn best practices for cold calls and elevator pitches. We'll start by covering how to successfully secure a meeting with a decision maker. Then we'll explore how to perform prospect meetings. We'll discuss 3 key pieces of information that every white label partner should share with potential customers when meeting them for the first time. Then finally, we'll walk through real-world merchant success stories, highlighting a few examples of various textLIVING merchants so you can see the incredible and immediate success they experience with our platform. So let's jump into topic 1, best practices, cold calls, and elevator pitches. Step 1 is the greeting. Don't ask them how they're doing, get to the point and while you're calling. For example, when I'm calling someone, I'm gonna say, hey, this is Joe. I'm not gonna say, hey, this is Joe with textLIVING. All I'm doing by saying my business name is confusing the customer, making them think, who is Joe with textLIVING, instead of this is Joe, and then I get to the reason for my call. We're not IBM, we're not Apple. No one's gonna know us as a small company when we're calling the businesses, and it's just gonna confuse them. So step 2, the reason for your call. This is one of the most important parts of the process, especially when you're on the phone. You need to be natural, confident, and concise when you're stating the reason for your call. So for example, this is Joe. The reason for my call, and the reason you want to start with the reason for my call, is it immediately makes the prospect perk up because they know they've got to respond to you. So the reason for my call is I work with merchants like you to help them build stronger relationships with their customers and increase their revenue. That's it. You're done with the reason for your call. After stating the reason for your call, then you're gonna ask for the appointment. Typically, once you ask for the appointment, that's gonna lead to step 3, to walk through follow-up questions. So questions are the best way to start an engaging conversation and get buy-in from the prospect so that you can win the meeting. For example, you can ask a prospect, do you have a way to quickly and immediately reach 98% of your customers with a few clicks of a button? In most cases, that's going to engage them because it's a thought-provoking question. Next, step 4 is you've got to manage rebuttals. And the best way to manage rebuttals is to listen, acknowledge, and then ask more thought-provoking follow-up questions to get them back engaged. For example, one that we hear all the time is, I just don't have the money. Now, when managing rebuttals, we want to listen and make sure we heard it, and then we want to acknowledge and tell them back what we heard. Understand that you don't have money for different programs currently. And then you want to follow up with a thought-provoking question. So in this case, if they say I don't have money, a good thought-provoking question would be, do you currently have a way to drive back loyal customers that may have lapsed? So for example, let's say I've come into your business, I had a fantastic experience, the food was great, the service was great, but for whatever reason, I just haven't been there in 20 or 30 days. Do you currently have an automatic way to talk to me and be in my pocket and say, Joe, we miss you, come back in and get $2 off? And in most cases, they're going to respond with no. So then I'm going to follow up that question with, do you think that would add value to your business? If we could drive upwards of 25% of your lapsed customers in each month, making a program that doesn't cost you any money, but actually makes you money. And at that point, I've managed the rebuttal, and then I'm going to go to and say, I'd love to come by, visit with you next week, and show you exactly how we can do that. So step 5 is get the win. The ultimate win on each call is to schedule a visit with the prospect. That's what you're selling. You're selling the meeting. So here's a few additional tips for successfully setting appointments. Number 1, you've got to add value. When you're asking those thought-provoking questions we talked about earlier, it's a great way to add value, because if they think you can add value to their business, they're more likely to give you an appointment. Second, sell the appointment, not the product. So many times when I'm bringing on new reps, one thing I see them doing is talking about all the great features and benefits of our product. That's not important. What's important is when I'm talking to a merchant, do they think I can add value to their business through my conversation on the phone? Not can my product add value, can I personally add value? Make the conversation about their challenges and needs, not about what you want. I'm going to focus on things that will help their business and make them think, that could add value to my business. You want to be conversational. One great way to do this is practice by recording yourself and then listen back to your pitch on your role play with a colleague. Once you get good at recording yourself, then actually role play with friends and family. That's going to get you much better and more comfortable with dealing with people on the phone. Next, you want to always get an email address and try to get a cell phone number. If you get the cell phone number, send them a text. And I do this even when I'm calling and I'm talking to what I would call a gatekeeper. It's not the actual decision maker. Make sure you ask for the email address and ask for the cell phone number. Most times you won't get the cell phone number, but if you do, send them a text. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. You didn't have the business in the first place. Topic 2, prospect visit. Here are 3 key pieces of information every white label partner should share with potential customers when meeting them for the first time. Number 1, you want to state the agenda. I start off every meeting, whether it's with a prospect, with a customer, with an investor, by stating the agenda. What it does is it lets the prospect know what is going to happen in this meeting. It sets up the flow and it sets up proper expectations for them. Prep your presentation questions. Ask, again, thought-provoking questions that will lead your prospect to discover they need your product when you start presenting solutions. One thing to remember, people love to buy things. Think about the last time you went somewhere and you bought something, that experience you had, the good feeling you had when you bought something that you wanted. But one thing people don't like is they don't want to be sold. Try and tell a story about their business to set up the questions. So when I'm asking about their marketing, their communication strategy, I'm going to make it about their business. So for example, before I would ask the question about how they communicate their specials, I would ask more questions like, let's say I came into your business and I had a good experience. How would you collect my cell phone number or my email address to then be able to communicate back to me? And in many cases, they won't have a way to do that. But what you did is you walked them through actually going through the process of going into their business. And then when you get to pitch, you're going to be able to present specific data that you learned from your questions. So now let's go through a real-world case study of merchant successes. I've come to appreciate the profound insights gained from real-world examples of merchants who have proven success using our platform. Take El Mazatlan Mexican restaurant, for example. They have 7 total locations on our platform, and they've utilized automated text, loyalty, and in the first 60 days, they generated an estimated total revenue of $15,466 on the program. Even more, since starting and joining the platform, we've helped them generate nearly $500,000 in revenue through their loyalty and text marketing efforts over about a 6-year period. Our team has combined all the lessons and insights we've learned over the years to develop a library of resources for our software sales team and white label partners to use. As part of this episode, I've included a couple of resources that highlight how to close more deals and case studies you can use as talking points and share with prospects who may be on the fence. We've included links to this additional resource on our website at textliving.com. Now, this is our final episode of our inaugural series, so remember to visit our website at textliving.com to watch all 6 episodes of Series 1 and download decks from each of the episodes. I'm Joe Brannon. Thanks again for watching. Now go out there and build business by helping others build theirs.